Good morning, everybody. My name is Kaya, and today I'm going to be talking about the show The Sopranos. The first thing that I want to start off by saying is everybody in here, whether or not you have the same professions, different professions, you're from a different place out of the United States or just out of the whole world, one thing that everybody on earth has in common with each other is the constant question of what is my moral compass? What are my values? Am I willing to change? Am I a good person? Am I a bad person? Do my actions fit my moral compass? And The Sopranos is a show that, on surface, it is so negative and can be seen as simply based off violence and like negativity. However, the deeper meaning of the show is so much more prevalent than many people might see just on the surface. And today I'm going to be talking about that. So, only about a mobster going to therapy. Yes, this show is about a mobster going to therapy. However, there's so much more to it. And in some of these photographs, I'm going to get into why these specific photographs are showing the deeper meaning of The Sopranos. And first, right off the bat, Tony Soprano is a mobster. He is a crime boss of organized crime. He has a very, nuclear, healthy on paper family. However, there's a lot much more under the surface level that you just see on the screen of him. That he has issues. He has a lot of things wrong that are deeply rooted in whether it be, his upbringing or the people that he surrounds himself with. And I'm going to get into that. So, misconceptions of The Sopranos. It's merely based off violence, sexual situations, and drugs. It is solely negative, and it's only about the mafia. However, there's so much more to it than many people just see on the screen. However, it is rather focused on and symbolizing America, therapy, family and loss, hope, and most importantly, moral clarity. The Sopranos is about America, not just the mafia. Tony Soprano is a symbol of American denial, excess, and most of all, self-destruction. He lives in comfort but is spiritually hollow. He stuffs down pain, fear, and conscience. And the show itself also critiques capitalism, consumerism, and the illusion of control. Tony Soprano is a symbol of these things because he is someone who, he makes a good living and he has everything that someone could always ask for. He has a loving wife, two loving children, a boy and a girl. And however that might seem like he has it all together, there's also so many issues that he has built up, and it causes him to be angry towards people, be disloyal towards his both his children and his wife. And it causes him to just be simply violent towards other people. And I'm going to get into later in time the fact that Tony, and the whole point of the whole show, I feel, is the fact that he constantly is aware and he is becoming reminded of it on a daily basis of the issues that he has. However, he refuses to change. And the only change that he does is merely temporary. Therapy as a symbol in the show is every therapy scene within the show shows the battle between truth and denial. So, if you have ever watched The Sopranos, or if you ever want, here's a little glimpse at what the therapy sessions really look like. First off the bat, this was filmed within the early 2000s. It began in the late 90s. And at this time, therapy was so looked down upon, a lot more than it is now. I mean, therapy is extremely widely accepted now, but it wasn't at the time. It was a little bit embarrassing, especially for, say, a crime boss to be visiting a therapist weekly. But within these scenes, Tony comes in and he explains to his therapist the issues that he's been having. And his therapist, kind of confronts him about, okay, this is your fault, Tony. Why is this your fault? I mean, you were the one who acted towards this person in violence, or you were the one that cheated on your wife. So therefore, these bad things are going to happen in your life. And he constantly denies her. And ultimately, his therapist gets very frustrated because he comes in there and kind of just word vomits all the issues that he's having. However, he's not willing to listen to anyone about, potential change that he could do.